सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। Today we will, before we start, we will do some chanting of this Upadesa Saram shlokas. So we'll start from verse number 4. Please take the chanting. Kaya Bhangmana Karyamuttamam Pujanam Japaschintanam Kramat Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ishtamurti Deva Pujanam Uttamastavadutchamandatah Chittajam Japa Dhyanamuttamam Ajyadharaya Srotasasamam Saralachintanam Virlatah Param Bheda Bhavanat Sohamityasau Bhavana Bhida Bhavanimata Bhava Shunyasat Bhava Sustiti Bhavana Balat Bhaktiruttama Rutstale mana swasthata kriya bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchitam bhakti yoga bodhascha nishchitam. Again, I want all of you to see. It seems some of you are just looking in the screen. And another request, those of you who have not turned on the video, please turn on the video. I want to see your faces because you have to do, it's not an activity or listening to be done by doing something else and then listening goes on. You switch on your video, I want to see the faces. Okay? I see almost 3 dozen people have not switched on the videos. Yeah. Because then only I can know whether you are listening to me properly or not. About Veda Bhavana and Aveda Bhavana. Though the word Bhavana is used, it is primarily the knowledge. And to gain the vision of non-duality, one needs certain attitude. One needs certain preparation in terms of maturity of the mind. When I say maturity of the mind, I can define the maturity as objectivity. One needs to be objective. Again, the question comes, what do I mean by objective? Objective, I mean one should have a factual vision. In absence of factual vision, in absence of objectivity, there will be subjective vision. The whole Shastra, whole teaching, if I have to put it in one word, what is the teaching of Vedanta? What is the message or the revelation of Upanishad? That is only one word, is to give you objective vision. The objectivity at fundamental level, at the level of truth, at the essential level is Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. The whole world is to be seen, seen means known, as the manifestation or non-separate from Ishvara. That is Ishavasya. I see the world as non-separate from Ishvara. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. That's what all our Indian poets, all bhaktas, or the message of Gita is. Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati. Bhagavan says, who sees me, everything and everything in me. Sarva bhutastamatmanam ekatvam astide. So many verses. Take Tulsidas ji, Siya Ram umay jag jani karahu pranam joripani. I can see the world as the expression of Rama and Sita. Or even Gujarati Narsi Mehta, that is true for all vernacular poets those days. That is, I have checked with Malayali people and Tamil and Kannadigas and Udiyas and right in Punjabis and Haryanvis. Since I don't know the language, I don't remember those poets. In Tamil also, in Malayalam also, you'll find the poets writing that everything is nothing but Ishvara. Akhila Brahmandama Ekatu Shri Hari. The whole Brahmanda is nothing but you only. It is manifestation of yourself, which is not separate from you. That is the vision. Now, to discover that is objectivity. To know that Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam is a fundamental objective. To know myself as Satchidananda Brahma is objective. To know myself as Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma, I am Purna, that is objectivity. That is the essential level objectivity. That is ultimate maturity. Relative level also, what is maturity? To understand the relative level of maturity, let us understand what is relative level of immaturity. What is relative subjectivity? The relative subjectivity is the extra value that I impute on people, on situation, on objects. The world is not created by me. World is creation of Ishvara. I have not created it. And the objects and the people and the situations, everything is created with some to fulfill a given purpose. It is meant for some purposeful living, purposeful thing. To see the object or situation worthy of that purpose only is objectivity, is maturity. But to see something more than that is subjectivity. In the language of Bhagavad Gita, I would say to look at it through the lens of Raga Dvesha is subjectivity. Imputing extra value on a given vastu, that this will make me happy, this will make me unhappy, that is subjective. Non-accepting the situations. Why? Why me? Why not this way? Oh no, etc., etc. These are the expression of subjectivity. These are the expressions of non-acceptance. When I say objectivity, it means that one should be relatively, one should be free from this level of subjectivity as well. Okay? That means, when I say maturity, it calls for certain maturity. It means I should be relatively free from likes and dislikes. That in a Shastric language we say, Antahkarana Shuddhi is necessary. And after that, you need certain attitudes of surrender, Shraddha, what we call it, surrendering to a teacher, Shraddha towards Shastra, Shraddha towards Guru, and of course Shraddha for Ishvara. With that attitude, if one has to expose oneself to teacher, Shravanam, what we call it, that Shravanam which can lead him or her to complete objectivity, absolute objectivity, in terms of discovering the self which is Purna, the self which is Ananda, the self that is limitless, the self which is free from birth and death, the self which is ever pure, the self which is always free from any kinds of hurts and guilts, the self which is free from sense of doership and enjoyership, that self. Since there is an unreal self, I have to say that the real self. There is no unreal self actually, but experientially, I have taken myself to be Dukhi, I have taken myself to be subject to birth and death, I have taken myself to be Karta, Bhokta, etc. In that is unreal, that is a mithya, that is out of ignorance. When one exposes with a matured mind to a competent teacher with certain attitudes, as we have seen in Tattva Bodha, Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, one discovers that I am Brahman, I am Purna, etc. That is technically called as Shravanam. Shravanam means Guru Mukhat Kruta Shravanam. Then you have to again add Guru Mukhat Kruta Shastra Shravanam. But then Shravanam doesn't mean just listening. Just I am sharing, no reflection to anybody, my views. I was not too much in favor of teaching online. Of course, I postponed it even after 4G was there in India, because when you do Shravanam, there is a tendency to do other job and keep listening to Swamiji. It is not one of the things to be done. That's why I want your videos on. You have to prepare yourself as though you are physically sitting in front of me. It is Shastra Vichara. You have to see what Guru is talking about. That's what Krishna is. Krishna is in the place of Guru. Arjuna is in the place of Jiva. What teacher, to see that, what teacher says, he or a teacher leads you to that vision. That is called Shravanam. Therefore, it is not mere Shravanam, it is Shastra Vichara. Having done that Shravanam, there is another obstacle. That another obstacle is some doubts raised by my own mind. Some contradictions. I may see contradictions. My inability to understand the Shastra in a holistic perspective, I see contradiction. You see so many verses. Something is said here and something else is said there. You have to understand the context. As we say, Purvapara Sambandha. What is before and what is later. This word yoga, in the 6th chapter itself, is used in 5 to 7 different meanings. Usually, we think yoga is Patanjali Yoga. It is certainly not that meaning. Just listen this verse. Yuja means to nirodha, to discipline, or yuja means joining. These are the two meanings we know. But just opposite to etymological meaning, Bhagavan says, Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sangnita. This viyoga is called yoga. Separation is called yoga. Further he says, Atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi paramo mataha. This person is a param yogi, the greatest yogi, in my opinion. Who is that person? Atmaupamena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna. Putting himself in the place of others. Who sees others sukha and dukkha, who can empathize with the people. That is Param Yogi. Then he says another meaning of yoga. Samatvam Yoga Uchyate in the 5th chapter is in the sense of objectivity. Is a sense of freedom from the holes of likes and dislikes. Here, in the 6th chapter, he says, Arjuna, he talks to Arjuna and Arjuna himself says, Yoyam yogas tvaya proktah samyena vadusudana. That samatvam is vision of oneness. Vision of non-duality is called samatva. So you have to understand the Shastra in the context. And therefore there are maybe doubts, like a simple doubt. Or most prevalent confusion, or I would use the word not confusion, I would like to pronounce it as confusion. There is a confusion in confusion. When I say confusion, there is a confusion in the pronunciation itself. What's a confusion? They say, there are stories that such and such a Mahatma, who was a wise person, that disciples themselves write like the stories. And he was so wise that he saw himself in everybody. Okay. And then somebody, the Shishya was beating the cow or the buffalo, And when the buffalo was being beaten, Guru got the beatings on his back. That is called Sarvatma Darshan. That is called seeing the self in everywhere. This is, I would call it cock and bull interpretation. If that is a case, if it is Sarvatma Darshanam means others' dukkha come to you, wise men should not survive even for a single moment. Whole world is looking. Beginning from Donald Trump onwards, American public onwards, all corona people, dukkham should come to that fellow. It doesn't go that way. You have to have certain clarity. In absence of clarity, there is a lot of confusion. So, either seeming internal contradictions are there, or doubts raised by somebody which you may apparently be subscribing, or you may not have any answer to it. To grow out of this obstacle, what is called to be done is mananam. Mananam means clarity. The knowledge should be free from doubts. That aham brahma, I understood from a teacher, and I am very clear about this vision. This is what it is. Even if questioned by anyone, I can answer it. I am clear about it. But then, this is not enough. Often we see, or sometimes we see, with ourselves, when we are studying, listening to Shastra, things become so clear. Even Karma Yoga becomes very clear. But then, if I look at myself and be honest, I find that my behavior do not reflect that wisdom. They say, a standard thing, Swamiji, I know I should not worry. I should accept everything as prasada. I should do my duty as offering to the Lord. I should be objective to the person. I know. But then there is a Tamil or Malayali, but that but is long. There is but I know, but there is but always. Swamiji, I have completely understood. They say, I have heard people telling to Swamiji, as though there is incomplete understanding. They use adjective that is senseless thing. I have completely understood that I am Brahman. I am happiness. But why then why? But if you have understood why, but then but is my own behavior somehow don't seem to reflect my knowledge, my own conduct, my own interaction with the world outside don't seem. In a saner moments, you can say, in those moments when I am quiet and free from any interactions, I seem to be very objective, both relatively and fundamental. But knowledge somehow gets lost. That obstacle in the Shastra called Viparita Bhavana. Because of your habit and because of your memory. Human being at a Vyavhara level, at day-to-day transaction, interaction level, has to deal with another reality. that is called emotional reality. And that emotional reality is called Kashaya, we have seen earlier, or in modern language it is called unconscious, or you can say memories, or you can say there is a child within an adult. There is an adult, all right, quite adult, physically certainly adult, but emotionally there is still a child. Certain vulnerable emotions which takes charge of the person. The child that wants attention, the child that wants relations, the child that wants to feel secure, the child that wants approval. Baby does something and always wants mom to approve of it. Look at mom, I jumped from this sofa to this. And the mom says, wow, wow, my child. And the baby feels happy. There is always attention seeking, security seeking, approval seeking child within. There is always a child which has pain felt out of his or her limitations, that is stored within. That's a gift of the God. There is a pain, but you can send that pain to memory. Like modern mobile, if you give a command, everything is stored in iClouds. It goes, all photos and videos, all unpleasant experiences are stored in my iCloud. All those pain, iCloud is I only, that is in my cloud. Okay, iCloud is not the iCloud that is known in mobile, but iCloud in my cloud. Cloud means there is something covering. Covering in a sense, there is no sunshine, it's all cloudy, lack of clarity. That child emotionally surfaces, wants to hold on out of insecurity, out of some hurt, maybe out of guilt. The grown-up child has a guilt by 20, 25, etc., whatever. Hold on to some relationship. There is an anger inside. All that unconscious, it is unconscious. That unconscious doesn't know what conscious knows. And the conscious doesn't know what the unconscious is. Both are like the day and night. And suddenly, when similar circumstances come out, which triggers the unconscious, it projects that situation and that emotions comes out. And momentarily, the knowledge, the wisdom gets clouded. Even the values, simple, forget about Atmagnana. The value, the attitudes that you decided I should have it, I want it, sometimes gets clouded. There are certain vulnerable situations in each one's mind. There are certain vulnerable people. When it comes to them, that unconscious takes charge. And listen this carefully. When unconscious takes charge, that is called moha. Okay? Moha. We say the person should be free from moha. Nirvana moha, jita sanga dosha, etc. What is moha? Translation is infatuation. Moha has two sides, two aspects to it. What are the two aspects? One, the fellow imputes extra, like your a triple X large, triple XL, American triple XL, imputes extra values of something about person. This is the best person. Can't see any other thing, any limitations or any problems in the psyche or relation, just can't see that. Gets momentarily blinded. A child has a moha or some toy, or typical a doll or something, wants to always hold on, looks upon it as sarvasva, everything, my all joys and happiness are ultimately here. That is one thing, infatuation, and such a person is incapacitated to rethink, is incapacitated to see the other side of the vastu, as they call it in Sanskrit, incapable for pariksha. Pariksha, in translation is exam, but it comes from iksha. Iksha means to see. There is a word prekshaka, who are seers. Ikshanam means seeing. Parikshanam, paritaha sarvataha ikshanam, to see from all the sides. Complete vision, holistic vision is parikshanam. That they don't have. Like suppose X person has infatuation for Y person. Then there is strong moha, just sees the only virtues of that person. So much so, when there is limitations or error, then also that person sees goodness in that person. One-sided vision. And that person is not able to see the other side of that person. That is called, and to capacity to see is pariksha. Sometimes they have a dvesha, dislike. So typical, I had heard this word about 20, 30 years ago. Baby telling in America, I hate you, mom. That word hate, the way it was pronounced and the way expression physical, that means you are full of negativities. Nothing good about you, mom. I hate you. That is moha. Every object, every person, every situation is relative. It has both the sides. Moha, the person who is with moha cannot see that. Cannot see the other side. Much less, this unconscious is still one step ahead of it. When the unconscious takes over, ego joins with that unconscious. In fact, in a way, some ego is bundle of all the two. But that ego validates that, justifies that. And that validation and justification is so much, anybody questioning this person's response or this person's feelings is not accepted. That person gets rejected. That person is incapable, not only incapable of thinking, incapable of seeing, but not ready to listen even. If somebody says something, not willing. That is called blindness. That is called losing your buddhi. Okay? And moment the person loses the buddhi, that person is not worthy to be called as human being. Mohat bhavati sam. Just think, suppose it. Just sees something which is actually not there, unconscious is superimposed. That is moha. A good person is seen as a bad person. A person who is a hitechu, who is always helping you, is caring for you, that person is taken as enemy. The classic example is Ramayana. You know, Sita asking for the deer just couldn't. You would be, I mean, some of you would be surprised to know that when she called Rama, hey, look, there is a beautiful deer. Rama knew this. Okay, this is not the real one. But then Rama thought, if I tell her, she will say, no, you don't want to get me that and you don't love me, blah, blah, blah. She will fight with me. So Rama said, let me put in Lakshmana. You know, her transference will come to me. Her problem, the anger of the father will come to me. So he said, let me call Lakshmana. He said, Lakshmana, come here. Sitaji didn't call Lakshmana. And she didn't want him also, because therefore she called her husband. Lakshmana, Rama very diplomatically says, oh Lakshmana, look at this deer. Sitaji likes it. Leaves that. Then there is a Vakya from Lakshmana. He says, oh brother, this is not a deer. Straight. And there cannot be such deer on this earth. Because if it were such a deer existing on the earth, our teacher would have taught us, you know. Not like this Shvetaketu, you know, that Shvetaketu Upanishad story, where his father Uddalaka said, did your teacher tell you about one thing that having known which everything you know? Like a modern student, he said it was out of syllabus. Teacher didn't know. So, Lakshmana, then he said our teacher would have taught us. Then Rama did not say, no, our teacher didn't know, or it was out of syllabus. Because, you know, their teachers were none other than Sarvagna Kalpa, all knowing like Vasishta Rishi and Vishwamitra. When you read about them, you know, they were such a great teachers. Second thing Lakshmana said, if it was even a mythologically, we would have heard our elders who, when we were growing up, they would have told some stories. At least from our peers, at least from our elders, from our society, we would have heard about it. There cannot be. And he says, Maricham Mannenam Mrugam. He clearly says, I think there is this, the deer is none other than that demon Marich. Sitaji were not willing to reconsider. She pushed Rama, please get me this. If we have a pet like this, you know, we will be unique. People will talk that we have a pet which is golden deer pet, you know, like such a breed of the dog or the cat, which are endangered species we have. Like in Dubai, they have lions and tigers as the pet. And they go out in the sheikhs, go out in an open jeep and keep the tiger there in the jeep and moves in for a ride. Exclusive. You want. And if you can't get it live, please bring him dead. We'll remove the skin and we will sit on that skin. Our asana will be exclusive. That's what she said to Rama. Classic example of moha, incapacity to think. Reconsider my views. That's what unconscious does it. Conscious and unconscious are poles apart. Unconscious doesn't know what the conscious mind has discovered, and not only doesn't know what the conscious mind has discovered, it lives in its own imagined reality. Tells the other person, you are bad. That's what Sita told to Lakshmana. A spouse tells to another one, no, you don't love me, you don't want me, etc., etc. That imputes imagined reality, starts living in that world, and that unconscious interferes in the pursuit of knowledge. It interferes in the process of knowledge, taking place of the knowledge. While listening, while doing mananam, in mananam also, in gaining the clarity about the knowledge, it interferes. And last but not the least, it doesn't let you enjoy the fruits of knowledge. The fruit of knowledge is freedom. Understand? Cognitive freedom. Bondage is also cognitive. It doesn't let you enjoy the sukha or mukti. There is always a but business. That is all caused by unconscious. To address this unconscious, to grow out of this unconscious, the upaya is nididhyasanam, that is called abheda dhyanam. That is called nirguna dhyanam, nididhyasanam. Please remember, nididhyasanam is done after Shravanam and Mananam. I have studied the Shastra. I have a clarity, but there is always a but. To address that but, to grow out of the pull of unconscious, not to let myself being swept away by those unconscious emotions, not to let myself swept away by the child within, seeking attention, seeking relation, mom and wife and somebody all the time, dependence. This insecurity, please understand, insecurity is not with relations, some ideal insecurity. People have all kinds of idealistic insecurity. Karna had this insecurity. Therefore, he held on, knowing fully well that next day Indra will come and will come as a Brahmana and take away my protecting armors. No, this is my value. His. Come what may, I will give up. He gave up, he had to give up his life because of insecurity, wrong values. People give up relationships. People give up love. People give up children just because of their own ideals, unconscious. That, addressing that is nididhyasanam. And then when you grow out of it, that is called bhavana balat. Okay, the balam of bhavana. Balam of the bhavana means by the strength of nididhyasana. Strength means for a length of time I have addressed my unconscious, I have addressed my child. I have gained the freedom from my unconscious. And that balam, when I own up, I can assimilate the knowledge. That is nididhyasanam. That is also in English called as meditation. But then I had told in the beginning itself, this is, you can say nirguna dhyanam. Very loose word it is. Because if it is a nirgunam, you cannot do dhyanam. Nirguna dhyanam means assimilation of the teaching. Owning up of the teaching. And when that teaching is owned up, that is Abheda, is discovered. Okay? And that Abheda is Uttama Bhakti, ultimate Bhakti. In fact, people don't understand what is Bhakti. And therefore they have problem with Vedanta Shastra. They say this is different and Bhakti is different. No. Bhakti is love. It's a definition of Bhakti. The culmination of Bhakti lies in discovering non-duality, discovering oneness with the beloved. To see the beloved as non-separate from me. That's ultimate love. As long as there is a separation, there is no love. Surrender is also what? Last time I told you. Surrendering the individuality, discovering the total, myself as non-separate from total. That is Uttama Bhakti. And having said that, he concluded saying that Rusthale Manaha Swasthata Kriya Bhakti Yoga Bodhat Nishchitam. Manaha Swasthata. The abidance of the mind in oneself. I told you in earlier, the subjectivity takes one for ride. What is a disturbance in meditation is nothing but my subjectivity. When I am subjective, the subjectivity brings those thoughts of anxiety, worry, love, attachment, all kinds of things. Those kinds of thoughts takes me away from myself. So abiding in the mind, and abiding in the mind means being objective, or I would say being factual, to see the things as it is. That is called yoga. In Bhagavad Gita, there are two topics of the Shastra. At the end of every chapter, we say, Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra. That is a different meaning of yoga. The yoga word there means an abiding mind. A mind which is free, relatively free from subjectivity. The mind which is capable of acceptance of the situation and the people and their limitations and whatever it is. I can accept that. When I say acceptance, it doesn't mean a sense of frustration, sense of helplessness, no. Sense of inertia, inactiveness, that's not acceptance. You act it out. Should you want a change, work it out. Should you want to improve it out. Nothing wrong in it. But then first accept it. This is how it is. And I have to work upon it if I want a change. But then there should not, when there is subjectivity, there is a rejection of it. No rejection. Acceptance of the person, of the situation, of even things and of the things that I have. And ultimately, acceptance of myself. This is unique modern problem. That so-called modern self-consciousness is so much that person Some of them are so critical about themselves. Slightest remark, slightest comment, or even a friendly comment, or a comment born out of compassion, that I think you need to address this. It hurts the person. They cannot take it. Typical teenage, When mom says something, I know, mom, you don't need to tell me. I'm aware about it. Reaction. This is, when the person says that, there is self-rejection, self-non-acceptance. Objectivity is, I accept myself with my limitations. And I accept myself, I learn to accept my failures. People cannot accept their failures. People have problem with the small failures, little bit here and there. Oh no, what is this? No, I don't know. There, no, I don't know. Oh no, why no? This is how it is. I am late. There is a traffic. That's okay. But then all that is because of non-acceptance of the self. Sometimes there is a demand for mana, seeking respect, demand to seek recognition. That is all because I don't recognize myself as I am. There is some ideal picture of myself. There is some imagined self. There is a self that I want the world to know me as, and therefore I seek that. I want to put up a front over me that is out of non-acceptance. To some extent, like makeup. I want the world to know me as young, as a handsome or beautiful person, because I can't accept my gray hair, I can't accept my face, all kinds of things. It is one thing to look good. I'm not against the makeup, okay? Don't misunderstand. It's good if the things are available and if you can afford. It is always nice to have good face and good dress, etc. But then, more often than not, I see some people, it is born out of non-acceptance of what I am. Dyeing the hair, showing it out in some way that I am this, that mana comes from non-acceptance of myself, my own limitations. That is subjectivity. Yoga is, that is manasa swasthata, abiding mind, is a mind which is not subjective but objective. A mind can take the things as they are. A mind that can take the people as they are. Mind that can take the situations as they are. Then I do what is to be done. I address it out. I work for a change. But I accept it. Exactly like a mother. When a child has certain limitations, dad gets angry sometimes. And then he passes a judgmental remark. You cannot study, blah, blah, blah. Mother would accept the child, and then will work upon to improve that area of weakness. That is called acceptance. She is not inactive. When father can't accept it, he or she become one person, either of the spouse, they become inactive. No, he is always going to be like that. She never gives up. She works upon the child, helps the child to grow. And therefore the child always has a feeling, that mom will love me. I often used to say, when I used to take this workshop for the parents and teachers, the standard question they used to come, Swamiji, how do you define the ideal child? How do you define the ideal student? And second part is ideal teacher, an ideal parent. There is no such thing as ideal student. There is no such thing as ideal child. Okay. Yes, Swamiji used to say, Swami Dayanji had a unique way of putting it. He said, if you see a monkey meditating, that's a psychotic monkey. That means monkey has a problem. Okay, you don't take a normal monkey. If the baby is not mischievous, doesn't have tantrums, it is some problem. There is no ideal child. But I used to say, I can tell you ideal parents, an ideal teacher. What is ideal parenting? There is an ideal teacher. There is an ideal parent. And that ideal is these two pairs of eyes assures the child that I will love you. We will love you no matter what you are, with limitations. That is called acceptance. I accept the person and I accept myself also. When that is to be achieved, is called yoga. So either through bhakti or yoga or study or karma, one has to achieve this. That is nishchitam. This is the ascertained view of the Shastra. Having said that, the next session starts, next verse or next section starts with yoga. And there are 4 verses about yoga and primarily focusing on pranayama and the state of the mind. We will see that tomorrow. I think that's over. And so they just somehow lost the connection. I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Namaste.